This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Yes, our show is a lot about you and our main guy, James Alexander, joining us now with our question of the day and how you can get in touch with us, James.
Yes,
James.
you know, we're seen on over 219 stations across this great country and the American Forces Network. And you can get in contact with us by going to our socials, leaving a comment, and liking and subscribe all our content, all right? But if you really want to find out where we are in your neck of the woods, go to our website at dailyflashshow.com and click on where to watch.
Very
okay?
nice.
There we go.
What's our question of the day?
Question of the day. Is love at first sight real or just a movie
I'll
myth?
tell you right now.
Ooh.
I think it is a movie myth. It's lust at first sight, then love once you.
Is lust?
It's
Really?
lust. And you see somebody that it's attracted to you. That's why it's called
Yeah.
attracted. And we won't go too much into this, but you're attracted to them.
Yeah.
And then you can't, because if you love somebody,
Yeah.
you love them. You know what I'm saying?
Faults and all.
Faults and all. Thank
Yes.
you. And you're looking at the great side, and then you get to know them. And then, otherwise, if you fell in love with somebody, you'd be with them the entire time. And I think because you're setting yourself up for failure if you say love at first sight.
That's true. I get it.
That's a good- it's-
I believe in it. I believe in it.
I like that.
I believe in
Good
it.
for you. No,
Yeah.
and it's
You
good
know.
that you should. No, I mean, I'm not being facetious.
And why do you believe in it?
There have been times where I fell in love and she was a little crazy, but you know, it is what it is.
What is it with guys who like crazy women?
Toxic women are the best. I'm
Crazy,
sorry.
crazy in the head, crazy in bed, right?
Is that what it is? Okay.
And it's kind of a sidebar. And soulmates. I hate the thing.
You hate soulmates?
I don't believe in soulmates.
You don't- okay.
I believe you can be a soulmate, but you have to work for it. It's not like
Gotcha.
you know. Yes, the universe had brought people together for a reason, but that person might not be. It could be a soulmate, but
Right.
not in the aspect that you might need.
I think it sets your expectations up for failure because you're putting
I like-
all of this
Right.
weight on another person to fulfill this idea that you have of a
Expectations.
soulmate.
I
And
got
you
you.
marry them,
Yeah.
and then they put on all the weight.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. And that comes back to you got to love them for all the right reasons.
Guys, too.
Regardless.
Thank you.
And I still can't get over the crazy. Lady on the street, freak in the
For
bed.
freak,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Crazy in the head.
Crazy in the head. Let us know what you think. You want to chime in on our question of the day. We'd love to hear from
Yes.
you. A recent exchange between a local reporter and head coach of the Jacksonville Jags has lit up the critics
Yeah.
and social media. The reporter, she didn't ask a question. Instead, she chose her time in the moment to offer words of encouragement. Take a look.
How you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank
You
you.
hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank
You
you.
did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
So James set the scene for us. This was after a big playoff game
Yeah.
that they were expected to win, but they lost.
It was a battle. This team was sucked the year before, and this year they came back roaring. They played against the Buffalo Bills. It was a battle. It came down to the last minutes of the game. And, you know, having a great season like that, I understand. I get it. I'm a coach too.
Yeah.
So he was down. And if you look at that video again, you can see how bad he was, like in his head, trying to figure out what he did wrong, what he could have done, what plays. Everything goes through your head at that time.
You're talking about the coach.
I'm talking about the
So
coach.
yes,
Coach
of
Lee.
course.
responsibility
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
field.
he always, you know, as the coach, as the head coach, you always do. But I'm telling you, at that moment, I saw that. I was like, man, he needed those words.
But see, I disagree with you, and I agree with this AP reporter because the press room is meant for questions and answers. And Mark Long from AP posted
Okay.
this controversy that got a lot more people riled up. He said, quote, "It should be embarrassing for the people who credentialed her and her organization, Free Press." He also referred to it as a waste of time for those who are actually working. I could get if she wanted to offer some sort of words of encouragement, but that's not the place in the press room. The place in the press room is meant for Q&A. That's my opinion. I know it's differs from a lot of folks.
I don't think we'd have as much of a controversy if she had a follow-up question right after.
Yes,
I think
agreed.
if she would have said,
Okay.
having said that, man, you really screwed up. What do you think you did wrong? Or whatever, right?
Something.
But I can understand that. So I'm kind of in the middle right now between because I agree with what you say. We've gone to movie junkets where some people have gone in and just it made a circus and then ruined it really for everybody else.
Yes.
So I understand that. And you work for so hard to be able to get up to raise your hand and ask a question. And so it sounds like this AP reporter was like, you took this time out. And I think McAfee was even talking about, like, look, it was only, 20 seconds?
Right, and so it was 27 seconds, right? And the reason why I'm kind of on her side is because when you're looking at a guy at that moment, he needed that. And he definitely needed to hear more than, okay, so why did you go for this on 4th and 4? Or why did you go for that? Why didn't you do a pass? It's the same questions that they get all the time. He's going through it in his head as to what went wrong, what he could have done better. So coming into that press conference and hearing that first, you can see his whole the whole environment change. His whole personality
but he's an NFL coach. I'm sorry, you're making millions of dollars. If you fail in that playoff game, in that moment, with such a close score, then you deserve to be asked certain questions. And I don't think it's the right moment in a press conference to start to shower somebody with praise. The reason why I think so many people mistrust mainstream media, which is at an all-time low, by the way.
That's a good point,
is because of nonsense like this, because she goes in and she comes across, appears to be on the side of the coach. She's not being objective.
Right.
Now, I think objective journalism has probably gone out the door about 10 years ago. But
Hence our show.
Yeah, exactly. But she doesn't offer any sort of middle of the road. Like Mitch said, if she'd followed up the compliments with, hey, I feel for you, buddy, but, what could you have done differently?
Yeah.
That's all she needed to do. But she's sucking the air out of the room with a dumb question like that. And those press conferences can end in a hot second, meaning the rest of the people won't even get a chance to answer a question or ask a question.
At some points, we got to get past deadlines. And I think, we have to show our human side. He's still a human, no matter how much money he's making. Like I said, being a coach, being in those situations, things could have went wrong for us, but we won a state championship.
Lake Mary High School.
That's it. But, having to stand in front of people and answer for everything that went wrong is
What is she saying about it?
So here's the reporter with her take on the backlash. Take a listen.
Take no offense to it. Listen, I've been in this business more than 25 years. I've interviewed from Barack Obama to Terry Bradshaw to, what's my guy named Tiger Woods. So he can say whatever you want about fake news.
I'm going to say, I like her glasses.
Love her. Love her look. I love her whole look.
She got a great look. Okay, so she's saying, so she's kind of going back saying, listen, she's credentialed. She's representing herself as saying I should be credentialed because in fact I've covered. I'm not just an influencer,
new to the game.
Yes.
So I can understand it. And Jackson, I'm with you on. I wholeheartily agree. I think, as I said earlier, had she add on to that. Also, when you're a coach, but you're going out there, you're being vulnerable. You're thinking, somebody can. You've seen. I think Aaron Rodgers walked out of a conference.
Yes.
Press conference. So she wanted to offer that. I think that the other people get upset because they feel like there's a certain amount of hands that get raised.
Yep.
But here's the thing: why not show a little bit of that? It does show a little bit more of that world. The problem is, I feel, is that she asked it. Now next time, say, hey man, you were wearing that crazy hat up there. What the hell does that have to do with the game or whatever? I like the moments of levity. You can't, so to say with you, if you can't say that, you can't add jokes, you can't ask those questions that maybe everybody was thinking, but it has nothing really to do with sports or whatever. So you got to open it up to everything. I would say now there's probably going to be rules. Ask a question, no more comments.
Yeah.
Questions only.
Right.
Yeah, which is fair. But I was just thinking in that moment. I mean, it caused such an uproar online. It was crazy.
You're a good guy. That's why you are.
It is
I'm
true.
the guy what I have to be.
But let's say but you go back. You're a sports guy, and you go back and you go, why didn't you ask this guy about the third quarter?
Yeah.
Why didn't you yell? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we break down film all the time, so I can tell you what he was thinking because I look at everything and I'm like, okay, I see what he was trying to do. We all know he was trying to win the game.
And that's all he had to say. I mean, and obviously you stick with that. She's a seasoned reporter, no question. She has the right and the status to be in that room and ask questions. along with maybe a few comments, but I think it sets a weird precedent.
Yeah.
And the sports broadcasting group is not very forgiving.
No, they're
I'll
not.
say that. So.
First off, yeah, they also remember everything. Sports guys, I don't know
Yes.
how they have this chip in their mind. They
There
can
is
remember.
a grudge.
Stats. Coming up,
Yes.
can you find love on LinkedIn? We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be heading to the kitchen, but right now it's time for our brain flash question.
What actor turned down the role of Neo in The Matrix?
Whoa.
We'll have that answer right
Ooh,
after this.
that's
Stay
a
with
good
us.
one.
We're back in just a moment.
Hey guys, have you seen The Scene? I have spent my entire life in the spotlight, but my true passion is to shine the spotlight onto others. Iconic celebrities from music, movies, and more. And I get to know the person behind the personality. Join me every week and come see something that you haven't seen before.
The Scene with Doreen. Check it out Wednesdays at 20 to the hour, only on Daily Flash.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. Let's see if you got today's brain flash question right. Here is the question. What actor turned down the role of Neo in The Matrix? Ooh, man, that would be
I
a
think I
one-eat
heard that.
request.
Yeah, I got it right. Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith. He turned down the role of Neo in The Matrix. And of course, Keanu Reeves did it and made history.
And his wife was in the second one.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Absolutely. Well, LinkedIn isn't just for jobs anymore. It's being used for LOVE, love. That's right. Here with more details is Emily Stewart from Business Insider. Emily, this is pretty fascinating. There's an old rule that says never mix business with pleasure, but this story obviously breaks those rules. How did LinkedIn become a dating tool?
I mean, if you think about it, the entire internet these days is a dating tool. That's how people kind of meet each other, obviously, nowadays. And so it sort of makes sense that at some point people kind of leap from maybe a Tinder to, an Instagram to LinkedIn. Because if you think about it, we actually put a lot of information about ourselves on LinkedIn and like real information, right? On Instagram,
Yes.
you kind of curate your life. On LinkedIn, it is where you work, where you live, where you went to school, when you graduated. And so that's one that I think a lot of people want to know about the people they might be dating, or, they're curious about people they've broken up with. And so it's only natural that people kind of wind up there poking around, seeing what people are up to.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Why do you think in your reporting do people check their exes' profiles? Obviously out of curiosity, but I think with LinkedIn, you can see who's checked your profile.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the funny part. And honestly, how this story kind of came up for me is that LinkedIn kind of rats you out in a way that other social media doesn't, right? If I go on an ex's Instagram, like they don't see it unless like I watched a story or I accidentally liked something. But with LinkedIn, the default setting is that people can see when you've seen their profiles. And so a lot of people, that I spoke to for this story said, yeah, I notice every once in a while my ex looking around or my ex's mom looking around. Parents can be pretty bad about this, curious what their kids are up to and their kids' lovers are up to. And so, yeah, I mean, LinkedIn's a little bit different because it does kind of tell on you in a way that other social media does not.
And then what I found is if I've been poking around and I see somebody that maybe I used to work with, then I feel like I feel obligated to come up with some dumb question as to explain why I was looking at your profile. What about those privacy controls? Do you think they're too weak? They're too extensive? What's your take?
I mean, LinkedIn's kind of default, like a lot of social media, is to really have you out there, right? And there are ways you can change settings. I think that the hard part with LinkedIn is kind of the more that you sort of like lock it down, if you will, like the worse it is for your job search, maybe. The point of LinkedIn is to kind of be out there, especially nowadays where you want to be to some extent posting. And at the very least, right, you want to have like where you live on there, your name on there. And so I did talk to some people who said, I feel a little bit conflicted about this because I would like to kind of up the privacy settings on here. And maybe I have, but like, I worry that that will also hurt my job search. And, a lot of people just don't know about this stuff. Like, candidly, I told a few people that they could block people on LinkedIn and they were shocked to learn that. People just don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I know they kind of get you with like, well, for $20 more a month, you can find out who really looked at your profile, which kind of drives me a little nutso. What impact do you think this has on our work lives in mixing love, work, and pleasure?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is sort of the story of social media overall is that really kind of everything comes together. It's not, business is over here, work is over here, your friends are over here, your hobbies are
Yeah.
here. It's all kind of mixed in together. And I think we really do see that on LinkedIn. LinkedIn over the past like 5 years, let's say, has gotten like a little bit weird. If you kind of look at it, people post stuff there that
Yeah.
maybe 10 years ago they would not have. And so I think overall the story of LinkedIn is that it has sort of evolved to be, people feel this pressure to be like LinkedIn influencers and things like that. And so I think we're just kind of seeing this across the internet, and in LinkedIn it makes it pretty awkward because suddenly it's not just maybe your old boss that's there, it's maybe some guy you went on a few dates with, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's tricky.
I could see this as a way to kind of, sort of stake out someone's credibility, or a potential date you're going to go meet, so you can find out a little bit of information and make sure that the person is legit or not. Do you think LinkedIn might be changing this trend?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like a tough spot for LinkedIn. I reached out to them and said, "Do you want to chat?" And they said, "No, like we don't have anything to add on this," because I do think this is just sort of like it's really natural, like you said before, for people to be curious about who they might be dating, who they used to date. I think that's pretty natural. I think that this is just one where like this is where we are nowadays, and especially in the era of online dating, I think that it makes sense that people will check it out. I talked to one woman for this story who lived in New York, in Brooklyn, in like the early 2010s, and she said LinkedIn was a good way to see if all these guys were lying about working at Vice, because that was like the cool place to work, and you didn't know if they were there. And so, I think for LinkedIn, honestly, it's probably not the worst thing in the world that people are kind of using it for this. Obviously, there's a scary part to it because for some people it becomes pretty dangerous, but overall, I think it's like pretty in good fun to see, like, oh God, I looked at somebody's profile and now they're going to know. And, we've all been there.
Yeah, very true. Emily, great stuff. Thank you so much for sharing this story. We're going to share this interview on our website at dailyflashshow.com/FMI for more information. And for more information on Emily Stewart's great work, you can go to businessinsider.com. Welcome back to Daily Flash. Time now for some trending stories. Gen Z is not just ditching the dating scene, they're ghosting the workplace as well. Nearly 60% of Gen Z workers say their job is a situationship. That's how they think about it. They consider it a short-term setup with no long-term commitment. According to a brand new survey, nearly half, 47%, plan to leave their job within a year. Nearly 1 in 4 ready to quit without notice. Many say they already have. Roughly 30% admit to simply walking out without a warning, giving a standard 2-week notice, or even sending or replying to a goodbye email, which is fascinating. We've had some experience here about that on the show. Gen Z workers are known to lack early job experience. They distrust institutions and are more risk averse. It's also a combination that experts say fuels a quick exit and zero patience. And what's interesting too is job performance reviews typically start after 18 months. Many long gone before then.
Which it says a lot about that, and I think it's because we are in a disposable society.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not wholeheartedly their fault. They're like, well, I just move on. There's so many things that we go down as far as Gen Z goes, and there are a lot of great things that they do. I kind of am glad that they're waiting to get married. When I hear stuff like that, I think that's awesome. However, as far as jobs go, what they don't realize is how much that disrupts a business, and they think, well, to me, they did not put a lot of value on themselves, because one little cog in the wheel can really screw it up for everybody else. And it just shows a lack of empathy for any other employees.
Yeah.
And as a boss, you look at it like, well, I'm glad we got rid of them, because it probably would have been a problem after a while. When you could have developed that person, it's like if they go, hey, look, or, don't just give up now. Let's work through some issues. That could help them out in other places in life.
Well, and I think, too, in some respects, it's like they're hedging their bets. Well, this sounds good over here, but then there's this nice, shiny object over here.
FOMO.
So, yeah, exactly. So, I might dip my toe in here, but if I don't like it, I'm just leaving it. I'm going to go over here. And it's this constant bouncing around. And I think eventually that catches up with you, because I think you're going to find yourself in a situation where your lack of commitment will start to surface and people will recognize it.
And just as everybody should know, things are cyclical. They're going to go back, and you know what? We're going to start hiring based off resumes. And they see a resume, and you got 15, and you're only in it for 2 months at a time.
A job hopper is what they call that.
It's going to hurt you altogether. And there is something to stick-to-itness that people have to understand, is that you've gone through some of the bad stuff, and you just figured it out. So keep that in mind.
Well, there is value, I think, in staying with the job long term, whether it's 1 year, 2 years. At least it shows that you've committed to something and you saw it through, good or bad.
I like that. It's a new year. Many of us are now cleaning out our closets to make space for new and improved versions of ourselves. And word has it, leggings are no longer trending. In fact, many say in the fashion industry say that if you are wearing leggings out in public as pants, it might make you look old. If you choose to wear them to exercise in, no problem. It's when you leave the house wearing leggings as part of your outfit that has fashionitas actually spinning their heads. Many guys are going with the BWPs, or big workout pants. Don't know what they are? Think MC Hammer. Don't touch it. Another item that's no longer in, skinny jeans. I'm guilty of this, though. Not only for women, but for men, too. On a recent episode of Kelly and Mark, the couple also mentioned the ankle sock. Okay, I like ankle sock.
I do too.
According to the daytime host, the short version of an athletic sock is no longer in fashion. These things right here. What about the ones where you can't see? There's a name for them.
The no-shows.
No-shows, thank you.
Yeah.
Which we go back to the, Gen Z.
Yeah. Full circle.
Are those okay?
I love a good no-show.
All right, so
Sock.
I have to I mentioned about skinny jeans. So I used to be super fat, right? And my pants, I hold them up. I'm like, how? They look like tents. And I will pick up a pair of jeans at a store, and I go, there's no way that these can fit me. And I'll put them on, and they fit me. And they're skinny jeans, right? So they make me feel good, but I know that they're not in fashion anymore. But I like wearing them, and they feel better than those baggy things that I used to always wear.
But see, I think that's the big difference. Like, if you're wearing skinny jeans, you feel great in them, they fit you right, go for it. But if you are maybe, a bit overweight, you're pushing some pounds, skinny jeans, much like leggings, are not for you. As you like to say, leggings are...
Leggings and spandex is a privilege, not a right.
Same with skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans is the same thing. All right. Here's my problem. I have very short legs and thunder thighs. So I know how I look in them, but I'm at that age, I'd rather be comfortable.
Yeah, but see, I think that it's important. Like, when it comes to style, if that's what makes you feel good and you feel put together, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter whether Kelly and Mark say they're out. It doesn't matter.
Thank you, Jackson.
But I do think it, and fashion is cyclical too. So by the time you decide, I probably shouldn't wear these skinny jeans anymore, they're back in fashion. So I say, regardless of what's in, what's out, you gotta rock what you feel good in.
We were talking, I think last week or whatever, about this craze about going back to 2016.
Yeah.
And that's when I actually had lost all the weight, and I was kind of like at the same weight that I'm at now. And that's probably, when I started wearing skinny jeans again, which they were just called regular jeans before. I was just so fat, they looked too tight on me.
You called them skinny jeans.
They were skinny jeans, but they were
to
just...
me, you were skinny, yeah.
Right. So anyway, and I'm all about fashion. I want to look.
You always
look
great.
Thank you, Jackson.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving those up yet.
You shouldn't.
Make fun of me if you want to, but they feel good on me. We got more of today's Talk Tomorrow's Trends still to come right here on Daily Flash.
This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mitch English.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash. Today's trends, tomorrow's talk. Before we do a darn thing here, let's check in with our stations across the nation. James Alexander.
Hey.
How's it going?
Hey, we're seen all over the world. 219 stations across this great country. And social channels. So if you want to see us, like and subscribe to all pieces of our content, go to our social channels. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to our website, click on where to watch, so you can see where we are in your neck of the woods. And now we want to talk about one of our local friends.
Yes.
Who that? Who
of the
that?
day. You know what? We're going to Puerto Rico! That's right, San Juan, Puerto Rico, WSJP-TV.
I know we have a lot of fans down there.
we do.
So very, very cool. And Miss Puerto Rico, she frequents the show
Yes.
here on Daily Flash.
Oh, yes, she does.
Okay, Andrea, I know you and I have had this discussion too, because when you're on an airplane, I know we talk about traveling, you hear
Yes.
kids screaming,
Yes.
and they just going on and on and on, and you're like, the parents have got to be hearing this,
Yeah.
right? They're right next to them. And a lot of times they can't keep the kid quiet down. They figure, well, they're just going to fade out and whatever. Well, there's another, and I bring that up because there's another thing that researchers in England, apparently they had a lot of money, and they go, well, we need to hurry up and do some research or we'll lose our funding on this. New study out that says once you've been a parent for a while,
Yeah.
James, I need your thoughts on this. Gross stuff just doesn't really hit the same anymore. And what they did, they went and got about 2,000 volunteers, right? And they gave them iPads. They sat them down, they showed them beautiful pictures of serene stuff and different everyday items, and then started showing them piles of crap.
Dirty diapers.
Dirty diapers, vomit, and this is me, by the way, going on that. And
Mitch has an iPad. That's
I have a very large iPad.
Swipe,
that
swipe.
it goes all the way over to here. Anyway, and so what they had found, and they were finding how fast people kind of swipe and kind of go through it, and the people that are parents. Not that they sat there and looked at the crap, but they stayed on the disgusting pictures like vomit longer than people that are not parents. Isn't that interesting?
To see if they maybe have seen that before.
They get, because they become unfazed. They say about 6 months in, once a baby is about 6 months or so, that's when you're immune to it all. Because why? Solid foods.
You see everything.
You see everything, right?
But you get the father's blessing. You know, if your kid doesn't pee on you,
Is that really?
I have
that's a father's
heard.
blessing. Yes.
I had heard mom say this, that for some reason, I can't believe we are talking about this first time, that baby's crap, and a mom, for some reason, they can connect to it. Like the smell of the baby all
Oh, wow.
over.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
they're, if
Yeah,
they
yeah,
carry
yeah.
around for 9 months.
That's
so there's
right.
a connection there no matter what.
Okay.
Anyway, so they brought them in. Half of the volunteers that they didn't have any children, so
Yeah.
they wanted to get a good score on them. Here's the thing: how would you like to be the photographer? And they go, "Hey, Tom, we need you to go out and
some
start
samples."
take some pictures of crap."
Vomit and dirty
And vomit.
diapers and crap.
Do you guys are you a vomiter if you see vomit? Like
No.
Yes.
You
I
are?
smell it.
You are? Oh, you smell it?
I do
Oh,
the dry
really?
heaves, yeah.
What if you hear it?
I wonder if.
Oh, if I hear it, that's a good question.
Hear
Yeah,
it?
because
No.
I can feel that,
Yeah.
like that sickness.
Yeah, no, I wonder if you became a parent, like if that would change and that sort of thing. I have a theory on it.
I think I would. I mean, with dogs, when you're picking up dog
Yeah.
stuff on the sidewalk, at first it's like, oh my god, but then you kind of get used to it, so I can understand that.
Okay, so one of the most powerful senses that we had that people forget about is
Yeah.
our sense of smell. I
Right.
mean, because smell can
Yeah.
bring you back to memories. If you ever get in a car accident and like you hurt your nose, you know that one smell.
Yeah.
And I've done that.
Sugar,
I've been in
yeah.
several car accidents, and it will bring me back to that. I think that's why people get sick when they smell it, smell the vomit.
Oh,
You know?
yes.
And by the way, this is the only thing that's on this channel right now. So this is it. You got it. And then the sawdust that they had in school. They didn't answer that.
Oh, the sawdust. You're right. I forgot all about that.
So moms, you're soldiers. Just
Yes.
remember.
And dads too.
Yeah, dads,
Yeah.
of course. I think it takes longer for dads to do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm still. He's 16 now. I still remember pulling back the diaper.
Really? Now it's their feet that stink about that age.
Oh, God.
Hey, we're gonna be jumping in the kitchen. Plus, we're gonna get social. All
Yep.
that right here. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson. As you see, we're here in the kitchen, which only can mean one thing. Something tasty is about to happen.
Can I tell you, it smells so good
Yes,
too.
sir.
Diane Smith with Florida Dairy Farmers is back, and she is here to talk about this year's Miami Beach Food and Wine Festival.
Yes.
Hi, Diane.
Yes. Hello. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited. Florida Dairy Farmers has been participating at the South Beach Food and Wine Festival for over 14 years now.
that's crazy.
And it's so much fun, and I have all kinds of fun ideas to go back to memory lane and then see what's new.
They're celebrating 25 years of Sylvia Food
Yes.
Festival, so it's really cool. And you, as you say, going down some of the memory lane of the greatest stuff around here, which is extremely hard for me not just to grab and start eating. Since it is 25, you got to make sure you kind of look back, as you just said, of those things that set apart. And this guy is calling my name. What do we have over here? This milkshake.
You know, we have some great milkshakes over the years that we've done at the Burger Bash. So Burger Bash is one of the quintessential events for the South Beach Food and Wine Festival.
Okay.
It was like the first big event that they have. And celebrities, you know, from Rachel Ray to Bobby Flay to all kinds of huge celebrities have hosted that event over the years.
Why do you think it's so popular with celebrities?
You know what? It is so amazing because, of course, it's, you know, put together with the Food Network, but it's a great opportunity to bring people down to the beach, to bring foodies, and to just talk about new trends, you know, for some new chefs to get their word out about them. And also just talk about, you know, food in general and to truly appreciate all the deliciousness, right? That food can bring you and the happiness.
All right, the churro one obviously was a big favorite if you brought it back already, and especially on hot summer or hot days that you get.
I
here in
have my
Florida.
eye on the champagne
That
mac and
is
cheese.
amazing. Explain that. That champagne
Yes.
mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we said that we had the churro milkshake that was back in 2022. We had that. This is from a Bubble Q event that it was back in the 2021 or 22 as well, and it is a champagne mac and cheese.
And the word champagne, is champagne involved in
So
it?
we actually make it with a champagne cheese and add a little bit of champagne into the mixture. You know, we make the roux, we make,
wonder
you know,
she's
put all
on
the
there.
cheese, the milk, the cream, and it's just indulgence and it's delicious. This is all about indulgence this time.
Okay, so we talk about how you can really indulge, but then we talk about something that's almost like a staple in almost every house, and that is the
Comfort
grilled cheese
food.
sandwich, which you've taken it to a different level, though, right?
Absolutely. So
Comfort
there's
food, right.
nothing better than a grilled cheese, ooey gooey grilled
Indeed.
cheese. You want to know the secret? Okay, listen to this.
Tell
you
me.
have to put butter
Yes.
in all four sides.
All four sides.
All four sides. You got
makes
to put it on the outside, you got to put it in the inside. And then I like to use 3 different types of cheeses, whatever you have at home.
Yeah.
Like I use Munster, I use cheddar, and then I use American. And if you use whole milk cheeses, they're gonna give you that stretch that you truly like.
Which is fun to eat that way.
Yes.
Yes.
Stretches well with these Brazilian bites.
Oh, yes.
I
Okay,
love
so
it.
new this year, we have these Brazilian cheese bites, which are delicious with tapioca flour. They're gluten-free, and we're gonna have them with 3 different sauces. One spicy, one sweet, and one savory.
I love
Okay,
that.
and the Oreo shake?
Okay, so the Oreo, it's amazing. We're bringing it back by popular demand since it's the 25th anniversary, right? So this was a viral milkshake that we work with one of the influencers that we work with, one bite at a time. And this has crushed cookie crumbles, Oreos, as well as Kinder Bueno candy.
Yum.
So it's
yeah,
delicious.
this is the way to go. You can't go wrong with all of these. All these, of course, you know, you can in different variants that you can be able to use as well. And it's hard for me to sit here in front of you, Diana, and not try those.
Why don't you try one of
Brazilian
those bites?
bites.
Give it
One?
a try.
Yeah.
Give it a
I'll
try.
try one too, because I'm curious. to know what these are
Absolutely.
like.
You know, one of the great things about it is that all of these recipes, you can find them in floridamilk.com, so you
Okay.
can make them at home. So even if you're up in
I get it.
Oregon or wherever you are and it's super cold, you can feel that you're at the South Beach Food and Wine
I
Festival.
love the way you think. Very
Absolutely.
good stuff. And if folks want to find out
Yes.
more information, we'll have links on our website at dailyflashshow.com. And there you can find these recipes and more. But you can't have these because I'm eating them all.
No, they're gone in like 2.5 seconds.
Indeed.
Diane, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Before Bad Bunny took the stage at the big game, one A-lister was already entertaining fans and players. Take a look.
Halftime stage, King Carter himself, Lil Wayne.
Romance scams are targeting millions of older adults. New AARP research finds many victims never report financial losses due to stigma and reporting barriers. Here's more.
Valentine's Day and romance go hand in hand, but online relationships are increasingly being exploited by scammers who turn trust into a weapon. Amy Knopfziger, Senior Director of Fraud Victim Support with AARP, has more.
New AARP research shows nearly 1 in 10 adults aged 50 and older have been targeted by an online romantic connection who asked for money or promoted a cryptocurrency investment. When losses occur, more than half of those affected never report what happened.
These schemes do not always start as romance. Criminals build trust through friendship or shared interests before asking for money or pitching an investment.
Shame and stigma stop many people from coming forward. These crimes can happen to anyone, and reporting is one of the most important steps in stopping criminals.
More information and resources are available at aarp.org/romancescams2026. That's aarp.org/romancescams2026.
The Department of Veterans Affairs is committed to modernizing care for veterans, healthcare providers, and their caregivers. Here's more.
This is essentially an electronic tool that compiles patient information, their records and their charts, and we share it on a secure portal if the veteran wants to get healthcare outside our system, and it's a lifetime record. So when veterans come to get care with us, we don't spend time asking about their history. It enables our doctors and providers to work directly with them to figure out what's going on and give them treatment faster and, quite frankly, we think better. You can imagine no one wants to go into a job where all you do is hunt for information, click and copy and the like. We want our doctors to be able to sit across from a veteran patient, have all the information right there, talk about what's going on, and once they've done that, also talk about healthier habits, better things they can do to make sure they really enjoy a long and healthy life. Our website has schedules and information about it. Go to va.gov and search on electronic health record.
The football season may be over, but for some fans, the stress isn't. Fantasy football has a way of lingering, and a new stunt by Dentech shows just how real it can get. Take a look.
For many football fans, the season may end on game day, but the stress can linger. During Big Game Week, Dentech, the #1 over-the-counter nighttime dental guard brand, used humor to highlight how fantasy football pressure can last well beyond the season. In San Francisco, Dentech revealed the winner of its fantasy football punishment, naming Colorado-based fan CJ Kempler as the lowest scoring player of the season. His penalty? A giant banana statue built to look like him. A lighthearted way to cap off a season of tough calls and last place finishes.
Never fun to come in last, but I think it's going to remind me more of this event and the stuff surrounding it than the season.
NFL long snapper John Weeks helped host the event, adding a player's perspective.
Stress is a huge factor in our game. Guys are stressing all the time. I know that sometimes my wife, when she stresses, she can grind her teeth. And I know Dentech's something that can help with that.
Pro Football Hall of Fame cornerback Rondé Barber says that pressure is all too familiar.
Once you leave that field, whether you've played good or bad, you know you got to get up and do it again the next day. Those type of pressures constantly stick with you.
For some fans, that stress shows up in unexpected ways. A recent Dentech poll found more than half of fantasy football players say season stress has kept them up at night, and more than 2/3 report jaw pain or clenching or grinding their teeth. Dental professionals say stress is a common cause of nighttime teeth grinding, which is why the Dentech line of nighttime dental guards for teeth grinding is designed to be worn while sleeping. Timed to Big Game Week, Dentech says the activation is meant to spark conversation, reminding fans that while fantasy football is meant to be fun, the stress can follow them long after the season ends. For more information, visit dentech.com.
Joining us now with some advice for getting your wellness goals on track this year is Life Minute's editor-in-chief, Joanne Butler. Okay, Joanne, great to see you. How can we make wellness a priority this year?
Well, you know what? A recent survey showed that people are looking to focus on saving money and exercising more in 2026, and Planet Fitness is a great place to do both those things. They're everywhere with more than 2,800 locations across all 50 states. What I love about them is that they're a gym for everyone, from beginner to advanced fitness levels. Just a welcoming, judgment-free fitness community to help you get stronger, whatever that may look like to you, And they make it so much easier to start and stick to your wellness resolutions because they have all kinds of perks and programs and great prices, memberships as low as just $15 a month. And it's a high value experience, best in class strength training and cardio equipment that you typically find at a more expensive gym. They also have a special PF Black Card membership too, with even more benefits like the ability to bring a guest every time you go, which is great because a workout buddy, can really challenge you and keep you accountable to your goals, which is so key. Also, access to their Black Card spa that has massage chairs, which are fab because rest and recovery is so important. And all memberships include free fitness training too, which is perfect for people who may be starting or returning to a fitness routine. Joining a gym can be intimidating, but this takes the pressure off not knowing, where to start or how to get going.
I like it. What about sticking with those wellness goals?
Well, you know what? Avoiding resolution burnout is key. So you'll want to find a gym nearby and just establish a regular schedule. When you have a schedule in place, it really helps avoid procrastination and motivates you more. Most people live within 12 minutes of a Planet Fitness. Most are open 24 hours a day too, which is amazing for busy people. Sometimes just showing up, is half the battle. They also have a Planet Fitness app that's free with free trainer-led classes where you can learn about the machines and create a customized workout plan. So I know better than anyone it could be hard to start a new habit and even harder to stick to it. So staying motivated is, takes effort. I'm all about it.
And where can our viewers go for more info?
Check out planetfitness.com and see all their great membership deals.
Joanne, thank you so much. We'll share this information on our website at dailyflashshow.com/FMI.
Hey guys, have you seen the scene? I have spent my entire life in the spotlight, but my true passion is to shine the spotlight onto others. Iconic celebrities from music, movies, and more. And I get to know the person behind the personality. Join me every week and come see something that you haven't seen before.
The Scene with Doreen. Check it out Wednesdays at 20 to the hour, only on Daily Flash.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash. Don't just sit there, hang out with us. We are online. We're all over Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of them. Search for Daily Flash Show. Jump in on the fun. Of course, you can also drop us a line at flash@dailyflashshow.com.
Okay, question of the day, James.
Is love at first sight real or just a TV movie myth? Yes.
Good question.
I think it is. I think it is a movie myth, is what I'm saying. I think that you could see someone and you go, wow, there's things that we look in the people that we're attracted to. Obviously, if we see them, we're like, all right, it's just investigating them and learning after. And, obviously, I didn't learn that until I started dating, and I was like much older when I started dating.
Well, because you got married when you were 10. So,
that is true. Not far from 10, but you're right. And and I think, I mentioned a little bit about soulmates. I think you can, if you want to call it a soulmate, but you have to work to become a soulmate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the attraction, that love at first sight, I do think that happens. I think it's more attraction than love. And then it all depends on your relationship, whether it turns into love or a soulmate situation.
True. That's true.
Because I've been in situations where, you meet the person and he's like, oh my God, next thing since sliced bread. But then you're with him for a while, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know if that's for me anymore. And then it becomes less attractive.
I say, and
the person does.
No, they really do. You're right.
No, it's true.
And soulmates come in whole different manners too. I mean, I think honestly with Jackson, you and I have been since 2002. We were, I think. You're my work soulmate. I mean, out of all the people I've worked with, I have dozens.
Right.
Jackson's the easiest one to get along. I'm like, we pick up right where we left off, and so I consider that a soulmate, but it's someone we had to work towards.
Right.
All right. I believe in love at first sight. I do.
I love it. I'm a romantic too.
I know, man. I think it happens for a few hours, then it's gonna work out.
Isn't that a one-night stand?
Hey, it's love at first sight, though.
Okay.
You could call that a booty call or love at first sight. I got you.
Speaking of calling, will you booty call us tomorrow in just 23 hours? We'll be back. We'll see you. Bye-bye, y'all.